This episode, we're talking about what type of cruise is right for you, from families with little kids to families with older kids. What if you want adventure or romance, or what if you're a senior? We're going to cover it all in this episode. Plus, we'll tell you about deals on Norwegian cruise lines out of Rome at 94% off and Royal Caribbean out of Rome at 70% off coming up in May. So, let's start the show.
It's time to get your cruise on.
This is Cruise and Travel with Paul McAllister.
Hi, I'm Steve, and with me is Paul McAllister, the chief dream cruise creator behind 101cruise.com.au. This is the podcast that takes you into the world of cruising and lets you in on the big cruising deals each week. You can find out more on the website 101cruise.com.au by signing up for the newsletter. So to kick the episode off, Paul, give us one of the deals you've found this week.
Well, this is a really hot deal. It's on Norwegian Epic, departing on the 8th of May. It's a 6-night cruise from Rome through to Naples, Barcelona, Cannes and Florence, and then back to Rome. Now, an inside room would normally cost you in US dollars $4,637. Can you believe this? $496 is what you'll pay.
How much discount is that?
That is 89% off. It's a saving of $4,141 US dollars. It's incredible.
So how many nights?
It is 6 nights from Rome back to Rome again. So 6 nights cruising around Italy and France.
And where do they go?
Well, they're going to from Rome to Naples. Then you're off to Barcelona in Spain. Love that. Cannes, and then back to Florence, and then home to back to Rome.
Wow. Fantastic. And so what was the original price?
Original price for an inside room, these are guaranteed rooms, $4,637 US dollars. But we've got it on special for $496 US dollars per person. Now listen, if you want to go up to a balcony, they're normally $6,637, but this is incredible too. $618 US dollars per person. That's for a balcony. Like, why wouldn't you go up to a balcony? That's a 91% saving.
That is amazing.
Great. Look, we've got more coming up later in the show. Another awesome Norwegian Epic cruise, and also one of my favourites, Royal Caribbean Odyssey of the Sea.
Now the latest cruise and travel news.
Carnival Luminosa is delaying her return to Brisbane by at least one day. Alfred already caused the 2,260 guest ship to cancel her March the 6th departure following the closure of the Brisbane port. In the latest update from the ship's captain, Carnival Luminosa is not expected to return to her seasonal home port until at least Monday, one day later than previously estimated. Royal Caribbean's Quantum of the Seas is also in the middle of a 7-day South Pacific sailing that embarked on February the 28th, but due to Cyclone Alfred, passengers will now be on board for an extra 3 days until Monday.
Look, it's interesting. There's been a few posts out there, mainly from Carnival, saying that they're running out of food on board. Carnival Ambassador John Hurd responded with, "There's plenty of food on board, but we'll be handing out fishing rods to all the customers to catch some fish." How hilarious. Apparently did not go down well with the customers.
All the cruise lines assured passengers that there's plenty of food on board, but I wouldn't mind betting that some of them are starting to run low on alcohol.
And it's going to be interesting when they get into the Brisbane port, because you've got 3 major ships coming in and they're going to resupply those ships in a very short time, remembering that the cyclone has affected all the supply chains in Brisbane. So I think it's going to be a fun time for them to get those cruise ships back out again.
In other news quickly, Cunard's newest Queen Anne has arrived in Australia for the first time. The ship arrived in Sydney Harbour last Friday as part of its inaugural 107-day world cruise. She then took off for other Aussie ports, including Brisbane, the Whitsundays, Cairns and Darwin, right into a cyclone.
Well, there's money on that. They didn't go to Brisbane. Well, we know that. So they would have just gone around the cyclone, then headed up to the Whitsundays and kept on with the cruise itinerary, I'd say.
MSC Cruises has announced that actress and TV host Drew Barrymore will be godmother of the new MSC World America, which is a huge ship, their biggest one yet. The MSC World America will be the first in the fleet to feature 7 onboard districts, including the harbour, an outdoor family venue with a cliffhanger overwater swing ride, a ropes course and water park. The World America is due to set sail later in April this year with a capacity of 6,786 passengers.
I know, it's huge, isn't it? But look, that makes sense now because Drew Barrymore featured on the Super Bowl advert.
Oh, yes.
So I wondered why they picked her at that time. Well, we know now why.
And finally, for Seabourn fans, they've sold their second ship, Sojourn, to Japanese brand Mitsui Ocean Cruises. This ship was built in 2010 and Seabourn are leasing it back from its new owners so it can complete its world cruising ending in May next year. All right, well, this week, Paul, you want to talk about what types of cruises and cruise lines suit different types of people.
Yeah, I think this is a really fun topic to get through. We're going to talk about budget cruises, what's involved there, who's good for family cruises. We're going to look at adventure cruises, cruises for seniors and solo cruises, luxury and also river cruises. But let's start off with my favourite, romantic cruises. So when you start thinking about romantic cruises, you're thinking smaller, sort of intimate ships. And the first one that jumps to mind is Windstar. They're the most amazing, beautiful yachts that just sail around into small little ports. It's very romantic, sailing underneath actual sails instead of engines. Very cool. And then they're giving you that beautiful 5-star experience. So on a Windstar, you're looking around 128 people on the cruise. So it's very small and intimate. You're going to get to know your crew really well as well.
That's nothing compared to the one we were just talking about, 6,700 people. So
it's way opposites.
It's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But then, when you go to romantic, you're also thinking along good old Princess Cruise Lines, the old Love Boat.
Oh, the old Love Boat. We just heard the music.
I know. And everyone does think about that. And that's what Princess market themselves on as sort of the Love Boat. I mean, how many years is it since we had Love Boat on TV? I mean, there's repeats. But, it is romantic.
They tried to bring it back a couple of years ago, didn't they?
They did.
Wasn't it a reality type show?
They did, the Australian version.
Yeah.
Yes, well, that wasn't great. But
so what else? What's another type of cruise?
Another type of cruise, then we'll sort of go into the budget, the cheaper end of cruising, which is a great market for people who want a great cheap cruise that's going to take them around to different ports that they can have a look at. So Costa Cruise Lines are one of the cheapest cruises. You're not going to get all the nice fancy shows and amazing food. So it is more basic. Then you sort of go into the Carnival and then you move up from there.
So for Carnival and Costa, what's an average day going to cost you on board? I know it depends on the
so
type of
many
cruise,
things because you've got to think about how many days they're on. But let's say a Costa Cruise inside room, you may get them for around $700 for 7 nights. It's $100 a day.
Yeah.
So, but look, when you look at these budget cruises, you really start having these add-on to whatever to your ticket. So basically, your beverage prices are going to be higher because they're trying to make up for all those costs. They're going to, everything that you want to do, any activity, they're going to charge you for. I know I mentioned Carnival, but Carnival isn't budget, but they actually target into that area as well. They're really reasonable for what they do. And you know what? Their entertainment on board's very good and their food's great too. So, if you're looking for a more budget conscious, then look towards Carnival. They're still a great cruise line.
What about if I'm a solo traveller?
Solo travelling is really hard because most of the times the cruise lines will sell the room for 2 people. So when you're one person, they start giving you what we call a surcharge, a single solo supplement.
So do they just charge you double because you're taking up the space of 2 people?
Yeah, they can. But what a lot of them will do, they have a special pricing for solo. So it's between 150 to 200%. So 200% is basically you're paying for 2 people. It really depends upon the cruise ship. However, there is cruise lines out there that are now targeting the solos by having what they call solo rooms, which sometimes are inside rooms, but say Celebrity on their Edge series ship, they actually have solo balcony rooms. So not many people know that. Yes, there's still a compact, smaller room than what you'd get as a standard balcony, but you still get a balcony for a solo passenger.
And your own ensuite and all that. But it is a smaller room than your standard room.
Absolutely.
It's still nice.
Still beautiful. So, and the same with inside rooms, they're a little bit smaller. But yeah, that's a really cool option.
Okay. What else? What's the next type of cruise?
Well, then we go on to, we'll talk about seniors as well. So seniors is a huge market for the cruise companies. And really, to be honest, every cruise line targets the seniors because they want to have them on. Because once you become a loyal member to that cruise line, you tend to stay with them all the time. So some of the best ones are Holland America. They tend to target that demographic more, but they have really great facilities. It's a great ship. They really cater towards what the seniors want to have on board.
Keeping in mind that seniors aren't old people.
No.
Seniors are just people who you're classed as a senior once you hit 65 or something. And
I know.
And
it cruises
so
from 55.
We're not talking about cruises that are full of old people.
No. So cruise lines start marking you as a senior from 55 years, which I find totally offensive, by the way.
But if you are an older person, like 80 or more, there are still great cruise lines like these that you're mentioning.
All of them. See, Cunard, again, it's a classic, the Queen Mary, everyone thinks of Cunard. They definitely target the older demographic and they cater for it, and it's fantastic. Look, all of them do. Princess is another one, Norwegian to an extent as well. So everyone caters for seniors, which is a great thing.
What's next?
All right. So if we go on from there, let's look at families and family cruises and having children on board.
Okay. So what if I'm a family with little kids, young kids, say under 5 and that?
Oh, well, you really can't go past Disney, can you? You're going to meet Mickey and Minnie, all the characters, not only just from the classics, you've got all the new movies that they have, and they have those characters on board as well. Entertainment on board targeted to kids. So their night shows are Lion King and I can't think of Frozen and all of those sort of shows. Amazing to bring those to life as a real live stage act.
And they'd start them a bit earlier, I guess, and that sort of thing. But the Disney cruises aren't that cheap, are they?
No.
Like you are paying for that experience.
Well, they know that they've got a captive market, so they charge a higher premium price. However, look, the ship itself is really well designed as well because they have family rooms, and so they do a split bathroom. So one will be your shower bathroom, and then you've got the toilet separate. So it's great for kids. So you're not having to have fights over, I need the bathroom now.
So what other cruise line for a family with little kids?
For little kids, look, I think you're still looking at Carnival Cruises, Royal Caribbean, both of them, and Norwegian, to be honest. All three of them target the families because they have the water slides, they have activities, they have kids clubs, and they actually take them right through from 6 months old. You can go into an infant's day club as well. So they can go in there, however, the parents got to go with them up to a certain age. And then you've got the 3 to 7 year old group, and then you go from 7 to 12, and then you have a teenagers group.
So you can still get some mum and dad time.
Oh, totally. You can have some mum and dad time. Send the kids off to the club. You go lay by the pool. And remember, on these ships, they always have an adults-only pool as well, so you can escape and be away from all the other kids around the pool.
As long as they're old enough to take care of themselves. So what about if you're a family like with bigger kids, and I'm talking, say, perhaps teenagers and that, they're not going to be into that same sort of stuff, the Disney and all that, but there are some amazing ships out there to keep older kids entertained. And
I think, once again, all three of them have that targeted in. So I'll use Royal Caribbean as a great example. They've got on some of their ships, a megaplex system. It's an adults, teenager group area. So during the day, it could be bumper cars. Then it's volleyball, tennis, badminton. They've got basketball, all these courts that they can change around. And then, say again, at 6 o'clock at night, they put the bumper cars back in again. So it's a really cool sort of area. With Royal Caribbean, they've really worked on their teenagers as well. So they actually have a separate area for teenagers where at night they can get food, they have all the soft drinks, and it's their own zone so that they can make friends with other teenagers on board and have somewhere that they can hang out where they don't have to be with mum and dad the whole time.
And they have a section with all the computer games and Nintendos and all that they can hang out in and just go wild.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really high technology area for the teenagers.
So what about a cruise where I want to go and learn stuff and, explore and have some great onshore experiences as well as, being on the ship?
Well, you've got these sort of adventure cruise lines as well. So they're now doing expeditions. So they'll have guest speakers on board that will be knowledgeable in what the area they're going into. They'll also do Zodiac transfers out to certain areas, so you actually get to see the nature. And I think of the Galapagos. That's most of the one that works best. There's a few cruise ships out there at the moment. Celebrity has their own Galapagos cruise line that they go out. I think it's Flora, and it's just purpose built. So they've actually got a scientific area like labs where they go in and actually look at the environment on board, and the scientists and the lecturers can give them information, but then they go on to their excursions and see it in the real. It's very cool. Then you go up to a high-end side of things. Like if we're talking about Western Australia, you've got the northwest of Kimberley, and you'll have Silver Seas, Seabourn, Ponant, all going up there again, giving these customers an one-on-one experience. So they're jumping onto Zodiacs, going into these little bays that no one can get into, waterfalls that you just would untouched. So there is that adventure. Now, both of these have a demographic from, the 2030s wanting to have that adventure side right up to the 90s. I know I've had people on board flights going to Broome, and they were elderly and they were going out on these amazing adventures on an exhibition cruise. So.
And of course, Antarctica as well. They head from Argentina down. We saw what was the one in Hobart?
Scenic
Eclipse. Eclipse was docked in the beautiful Hobart port there for a couple of days when we were down there last month, and that was waiting to take a whole bunch of people down towards Antarctica.
23 days they were cruising around Antarctica. And again, it's so amazing because you'll get into your provided thermal suits, so you can go out onto glaciers and wander around and see the wildlife. I don't know how close you'll get to penguins and polar bears, which they obviously wouldn't let you near a polar bear, but it's very controlled, but it's very exciting. I'm so excited when I do that. So we've moved on. We've sort of crossed over into that luxury field as well, just talking about some of those exhibitions.
So luxury cruises. This is the real high-end stuff, like the one I just mentioned, Scenic Eclipse 1 and Scenic Eclipse 2. Can't even say the words. They are beautiful boats. They're on the bucket list.
Oh, totally. These are butler service ships. So you're going to have an incredible experience. The sort of leading rooms are sizes of a suite on a normal cruise line. So you're looking at 33 to 35 square metres as the smallest room. It's beautiful food, beautiful wines, entertainment's great, but it's about the ship and that experience that you have, because it really is a 6-star experience. It's fun having a butler who comes in the morning with a cup of tea ready for you, and anything that you want, it's there. We have done Seabourn a couple of times, and our friends were laying by the pool and they said, I just feel like some caviar. Next minute, the full silver service caviar service came out.
Yeah, but they are wankers.
Hope they're not listening. They're not. They're gorgeous. We love them.
But what's some of the other brands then? So we just said Scenic Eclipse. God, I can't even say it. Seabourn is
Silver Seas, Ponant. That's a French cruise line. Again, small, beautiful.
Atlas.
Oh my gosh, I love Atlas. I'm so wanting to do Atlas down to Antarctica because their ship looks incredible as well. But then you've also got Ritz-Carlton. So we've got these hotels who have just decided, let's do cruising, because they know that they can do it really well and that they've got a very loyal following in the hotel. So and
a strong brand name. So yeah, Ritz-Carlton, I've seen their ships. They are just stunning.
Sexy, very sexy ships. And the new one that's coming out this year is Four Seasons. Now, I've seen the ships and it's very different. The ship actually looks very different to all the others. However, it's got one suite in it that has it's in the funnel of the ship.
What?
I know, and it's over.
Don't they need that for something else? To blow smoke up?
Well, obviously they made the funnel bigger so they could put a suite in there. Now, this is their premier suite.
Must be a spare one, surely.
You've got to go online, go and Google Four Seasons yacht, and you'll just be spun out when you see it. It's like 900 square feet of suite.
So it's on several levels.
Over several levels, and I'm pretty sure it has 2 or 3 bedrooms in there as well.
And this isn't concept, it actually exists.
It is. The pictures you're going to see online at the moment look like concepts, but they're doing it. I can't wait to see it in the flesh.
Wow. Okay, so what's another type of cruise? What about if I'm a night owl and I really want to party at night? What ship should I be? What brand cruise line should I be on?
I think all of them, to be honest with you. Now, look, the larger mega ships have incredible nightclubs on board with the best technology, the best lighting, and the best sound. Royal Caribbean on their Quantum series, they actually have the 72-2 theatre that at night converts from being a theatre in the day to a nightclub at night.
We spoke about that in the last episode a little bit too. So, and also we said the bigger the ship, the bigger the entertainment is going to be, and vice versa. The smaller the ship, the entertainment isn't going to be quite as spectacular, but they still do try pretty hard. But for night owls, like in a younger demographic, Virgin Voyages would be...
Virgin would be, yeah, because it's an adult-only ship as well. So they definitely have some nightclub areas that you can go onto. But just even like Crystal Cruises, we've cruised on them before, and that is a smaller ship, but they actually had a dedicated nightclub that was in there that you could go on till 2, 3 in the morning. I think they actually closed when the last person was left. So that's pretty cool.
And as well as that, they have a beautiful piano bar. So if you just want to be a bit chilled after dinner, you head into the piano bar. They've got, what are they called? The leather lounges.
Oh, the Chesterfields, yeah.
Yeah.
And Mark Ferris, hopefully one day you're hearing this, Mark, because he was our favourite piano player. And
probably the best onboard ship entertainer we've ever experienced, that plays the piano, knows all the songs, and just puts on an entertaining show every night.
But he engaged the audience. So everyone who walked in, he knew them by name. He had everyone's names written down on his piano. And as we would walk in, he would say, "Hi, Paul. Hi, Steve." And he would involve you in the show of his show. So he'd get tambourines out and things, and people would come up and play those. And you could just yell out a song and say, "Mark, play this." And he would know it and play it.
And what about for water lovers? What's for people who just enjoy the ocean? What's out there for them?
Well, I think all of them are like. There's Sea Dreams, which is a smaller cruise ship, about 128 passengers on board, and they cruise around French Polynesia, Tahiti in that area, and then they'll go over for the European summer and do smaller little bays like around Croatia and stuff. So it's a very cool cruise line to go on as well. But then if you want to talk about water, river cruises are hugely popular for Europe. And it's not only Europe. They
do some up the Mississippi, I think, as well,
I was
in
just
the
going to
US.
say, yeah. And also then through Vietnam, Cambodia, there's a whole pile in the Asian area as well.
So what's some of the cruise lines that do the river cruising?
So many. So AMA Waterways, Avion, there is Scenic, of course. Scenic, being an Australian brand, has really captured and marketed themselves beautifully over in the European rivers. They're one of the best as well. Again, because of the spaceships, that they call them spaceships on the river, which is crazy. But they're spectacular, really beautifully appointed, great food, incredible wines. It's a very classy experience. And most of the river cruises will include the excursions. Some do, some don't. But with Scenic, you get all your excursions and you get to choose which ones you want to do as well.
And we had a couple of members of the 101 Cruise family, Gary and Wendy, go on Scenic Jasper.
Yes.
Last year through the European waters there.
Yes, they went from Amsterdam down to Belgium, I think it was. But yeah, some amazing spots that they stopped at. The great thing about river cruising is you can sit on your balcony I'd always recommend a balcony on a river cruise, and just watch the countryside. Just glide past you with a glass of Chardonnay. There's castles. It's so much life on the rivers.
Sometimes you can almost, because the canals are pretty skinny, you can almost reach out and touch it from your balcony. You can touch the land on the side of the balcony.
It does. And one of the interesting things that Gary and Wendy told us about, if the stop that we're stopping at has a few cruise ships, what they do is they barge up against each other and tie up. And so you have to actually cry over each of the boats to get to the land.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think it was. So they're just a few of the cruises that you can
different types of cruises. There's something basically for everybody out there in the end, isn't there?
And it's really about talking to your travel advisor and saying what interests you, whether you want to do an ocean, do you want to do a river cruise, do you want to do an adventure, or is it purely a family sort of cruise that you're looking for?
All right. Well, the ship bell means that it's time to get those other couple of specials that you teased us with earlier. What have you got up your sleeve this week?
Look, here we go again. So this is another Norwegian epic cruise. This one's a little bit longer. So it's a 10-night cruise departing on the 14th of May, again from Rome, returning to back to Rome. This time we're going to go through to Santorini. You're going to go to Athens, Mykonos, Olympia, Malta, Messina in Italy, which is Sicily, Naples, Florence, and then back to Rome. Now, the brochure price, so this is the brochure price for an inside room in US dollars, is $14,144. I hope you're sitting down, Steve. $911 US per person. That's 94% off.
Goodness
I know.
me. That is amazing. That is just amazing.
And, of course, if you want a balcony, it was $21,744 US, but at the moment it's $1,251 US per person. Again, 94% off. Do you want to know how we're getting these great deals? It means the ships aren't selling as fast as what the cruise lines want them to be.
Right, because the bottom line is the cruise is going to leave on that day regardless of how many rooms are full. So as it gets closer, excuse me, they just want the rooms as full as they can.
Yeah. And look, these are limited too. That doesn't mean that they are always available when you ring. So at the moment, they're available as of the 8th of March. These prices are valid and they're always subject to change. Now, if we go on to Royal Caribbean, Odyssey of the Sea, a beautiful cruise ship. It's a 7-night cruise departing on Sunday the 25th of May. I don't know why. Everything's coming out of Rome at the moment. So, again, Rome to Rome. And you're going to visit Santorini. You're going to go to Turkey, Mykonos again, Naples, and then back to Rome. The brochure price for an inside room was $2,882 US dollars per person, but we have it for $1,019 US dollars per person. That's a saving of 65%.
And that's how many nights?
That is 7 nights.
And when does it leave?
That leaves on the 25th of May.
So you haven't got too much time, and the prices won't stay like that. It's
not for Royal Caribbean. These are a very, very good price. An ocean view room, normally $3,567. It's $1,092 US per person. And if you want to go back up to the balcony, normally around $3,675. We've got it on at the moment for $1,102 US dollars per person. That's a saving of 70%. As I said, they are going to sell. All of these cruises are going to sell very quickly because they've only just released them out to the market. So all prices are valid as of the 8th of March. They're always subject to change and availability. All prices that we've mentioned today are in US dollars per person and do not include gratuities.
Well, there's the ship horn to send us on our way. Remember, you can get access to all of the deals by signing up to our newsletter at 101cruise.com.au. Once you've signed up and you've got access inside the website, there are heaps of articles in the 101 Cruise magazine for you to have a look at, like how packing cubes changed my life.
We're convertees, aren't we?
Absolutely. I won't go anywhere without my packing cubes. Don't forget also, whether you've booked a cruise through us or not, you can always buy travel insurance through our website. It's NIB Travel Insurance, which is one of the best. And I can tell you from experience, you'll find it hard to beat the rates that we can give you. Compare us with any other travel insurance provider and you'll see. Plus, if you're an NIB Health member, you can get a further 10% discount.
For more, go to 101cruise.com.au and sign up for the newsletter and to get access to the site. You can also follow us on Facebook at 101 Cruise and on Instagram at 101 Cruises.